Okay, we are live, but we got to let it breathe just for a moment because we're going to bring on Facebook. And what kind of Huddle Up podcast live would this be without our Facebook crew? And apologies for being late, gang. This is my fault. As you guys know, I was traveling the last 2 days. Really tried to jet home in time, about a 4 hour commute or drive back to where I live, and got caught up a little bit in some weather and traffic. So, that being the case, we're live. Welcome in, everybody. It is the Huddle Up Podcast presented, as always, by Mile High Huddle and powered by Blue Wire Podcasts. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me is my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him. He's Zack Kelberman. Zack, here we are Thursday. Garrett Bowles has officially been activated, and Calvin Anderson, see you later, Sonny. Got to go to IR for at least 3 weeks. It's kind of a bummer because he was just starting to get some momentum in the league.
Yeah, but at least they're getting back Garrett Bowles, their left tackle. It's looking like Bobby Massey, after getting into limited practices now, he's going to be playing at right tackle. So it could be worse, and when Calvin does come back, and the injury, by the way, Chad, it looks season-ending when it happened. His knee got rolled back and rolled over, so the fact that it's only a 3 to 5 week injury bodes well for Calvin Anderson. But I'm mostly happy about them getting their starters back. They're going to need them against the Chiefs defense that can stretch them from the outside. They don't do much interior pressure except with Chris Jones, but they can rush from the outside when they do play well, and they're going to need the Broncos' edge protection to be on point.
Most definitely. We might have a frozen Zack Kelberman. Or Scott, is that me? That's Zack, right? Yeah, I'm good. All right. We'll see what's up. We've had a bad stretch of luck relative to technology on Zack's end this week in particular. Usually it's my fault when we have something go haywire. This week it's been on Zack's end. But let me just say some hellos here. Albert Knoppers, what's going on? I'll go ahead and take this version of Zack off so that the real version of Zack can come on.
All
What's
right.
up, bro?
My power is going out, Chad. I'm having, short circuits going on here. I don't know who I pissed off. I'm so sorry for whatever karmic disruption I might have imposed on the universe, Chad, but hopefully I'm here now and I'm staying around.
Someone named Murphy and some Murphy's Law you
Yeah.
might have violated. I
Sorry,
was just
bro.
saying hello to everybody. Albert Knoppers, good to see you. Give our best to Michelle. Good to see Travis in the house. Tarbox, that is. He's like, hey, dude, finally time to take down the Chiefs. All right, we'll talk more about that today. Good to see Donald. Good to see Greg Smith, legendary, consistent member of our community. Ernie, Big Ern, as I like to call him. We even got Leroy in the house. What's up, brother? He says, I'm watching the Cowboys-Saints game. Mile High salute. Well, thanks for keeping us on while you're watching it. We do appreciate that. Dave Glassman in the hizzy. Dave from Georgia. We got just about everyone we could hope to have in the chat tonight. Zack, before we get to seeing what's on everybody's mind as far as topics, I wanted to pull up here your article today. I know we touched on this in a previous episode this week because I think Fangio might have addressed it. Was it Wednesday? Might have been on Monday's presser, but the notion that Patrick Surtain's role might be increased, might be tweaked. Now, you can tell everybody what the article, the gist of it is, but what I'm more interested in is if we're talking about roles for Patrick Surtain is, hey, you want to cover a guy named Travis Kelce who has killed the Denver Broncos over the last 11-game losing streak?
I just hate how vague Vic Fangio can be in his press conferences. I think he looks at it like a tactical advantage, but it really just confuses the masses, Chad. He's talking about Patrick Surtain. I think you said it was D-Mac who asked the question to Vic Fangio yesterday about Surtain's roles expanding. He's compared to Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey did play defense. He did play some, special teams and offense as well, pull double duty. So he was asked if Surtain can do that. Fangio immediately ruled out offense. He said, no, not offense. So the one area that you would want him to play if he had a pull double duty, catching a few passes, running a few routes, it could be fun, Chad. But when he was asked about special teams, if he ever considered it, Vic Fangio said possibly. And I'm not reading too much into it, but what can he really do for the special teams unit? He's not going to cover punts. He's not going to cover kicks. He would be more than likely the kick returner because Deontay Spencer is really ineffective. For any Broncos fan that's still a fan of Spencer's, I would recommend not doing that. He is dead last in kickoff return average. Also, conversely, the Broncos are dead last in opposing kickoff return average. They're only getting, I think it's 14 yards, or kick return or 16. Teams are averaging 35 yards against them in kick returns. It's ridiculous. But about Patrick Surtain, He's a straight line runner. He's not a jukey kind of guy. What is he really going to offer? And does that little possible benefit outweigh the risk of wearing him down and or subjecting him to unnecessary injury? If he puts Patrick Surtain on a kickoff, Chad, and Surtain gets hurt, Vic Fangio should be fired on the spot. But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
I think if the Broncos fiddle with his role at all this week, it's going to be, as Ed Donatel kind of, I don't know if it was Freudian, that he didn't mean to say it, but he was so blunt that I can only interpret this as being a very direct, hey, this is what we're going to do. On covering Travis Kelce, who, guys, I got to tell you, I think he only missed one of the 11 games the Broncos have lost straight, right, to the Chiefs. I think he's missed one of them. He's averaging well over 100 yards per game against the Broncos. This is the guy that you got to find a way to take away if you're the Denver Broncos. So how do you do it? Who's best equipped to match up with him? Here's what Donatel said today, quote, "It takes all kinds. I don't know if anybody has really just shut him down, but you'll see Pat Surtain on him. You'll see Justin Simmons on him. You'll see Caden Stearns on him. We'll be sharing the duties on him. There will be times when he'll be doubled. Takes everybody. We have some quality guys that can match up with him," close quote. So, Zach, of that trio, 3 guys that have some serious talent, 3 guys who have made some big plays for this team this year, maybe there will be some doubles, interspersed in how Fangio and Donatel attack the Travis Kelce issue. But which one of those guys, if it came down to mano a mano, would you trust most to smother out Kelce in the game plan?
Well, you have to ask yourself, if you devote resources to Travis Kelce, who are you taking away from? Who is the other threat there? And that would be Tyreek Hill. And I don't think Surtain's the cornerback to match up with Tyreek Hill one-on-one, or the safeties. Simmons, his athleticism, I think, has been called into question a little bit, Chad. He's been turned around and spun around like Kareem Jackson. So to answer the question more directly, Caden Stearns, to me, has more versatility in terms of what he can do in the passing game. Not just as a box safety, but as a free range safety. He has 2 picks on the year. He's quicker to the ball, it seems like. He doesn't get too lost in coverage. So if they're going to double Kelce, I would let Simmons kind of play the box role, and I would put Stearns and Surtain on Kelce. Hope for the best, and know that you're not going to shut him out completely. He's not going to have a goose egg. He's going to get his yards. Tyreek Hill, Mahomes, they're going to get their yards, but it's a point of containing them. Don't let Travis Kelce get open and break free down the field for 60, 70 yards. Don't let him score 3 touchdowns and single-handedly beat you. Keep the game in front of you. Keep the yards kind of intact for the most part, and I think they'll be okay. But if for physicality alone, whoever is guarding Tyreek Hill, whoever is guarding Travis Kelce, get on the line, bump them, be physical, be aggressive, don't give a cushion, and let Mahomes settle into a rhythm.
Michaela jumping in with an early super chat. Thank you, from the Duchess. She's got a message here. She says, "I'll say it, pound the rock. FYI, got the jersey about an hour ago. All right, cool. Send us that selfie." She says, "I love it. Thank you. Much love." No, thank you. You were the winner of the October raffle, and it's just the way things are right now. Like I said, we're not keeping these on the shelf because we don't know who's going to win. We don't know what size, gender, all that stuff. So once we know who the winner is, we put the order in. And right now, lead times, hopefully you guys anticipated this for Christmas, and if you're ordering on the internet, I mean, Amazon's pretty lickety split, I guess, but there's a lot of lead times out there, Zach, that are redonk.
I mean, Chipotle is out of chicken, Chad. The world is coming to an end as we know it. It's crazy.
It's weird, man. We'll grab Colby here. Good to see you, Colby. And then we got a little matter of business to take care of. Colby says, "Please, Broncos beat the Chiefs and the Raiders. 2 shots at the Chiefs." Yep, 1 left for the Raiders in Vegas, by the way, and 2 against the Chiefs. How are you feeling? I don't want to get you, Zach, on the record because I actually want – you can say it if you've got a score, if you got a prediction, whatever is fine. But how are you feeling? What's your overall interpretation of the energies of this game?
Well, I just want to say, but on my last point there, Michaela, she earns her jersey, Chad. She gets her jersey, and what does she do? She turns around and supports the show once again. Michaela, you really are the greatest, and we appreciate you more than you know. How am I feeling about this? Well, I don't think I'm the right person to ask because I can't seem to get the Broncos down to a science, Chad. Every time I pick them to win, they lose. Every time I pick them to lose, they win. I'm usually, and so have you have been for years now, very accurate. You get a good read on the situation. It's tough, though. You never know what Broncos team is going to show up. I think I'm confident in the sense that they're going to give Kansas City a run for their money. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I don't think they're going to get boat raced. I don't think they're going to totally implode in this game. They're going to fight the Chiefs toe-to-toe at Arrowhead in prime time. They might come up short, but I think it's going to prove to a lot of skeptics that the Broncos have a lot of fight in them. Their roster is a little more talented than people think it is, and maybe Vic Fangio is a better coach than you and I and a lot of others have given him credit for.
I'll say this, all right? I think the Broncos are going to cover the spread. Right now, the spread's been hovering between like 9 to 10 points, and that's about where it was, Zach, leading into that Cowboys game. Now, there wasn't as much emotional baggage tied to that particular matchup, obviously, for the Denver Broncos and the Dallas Cowboys, and there is something to be said about that. But nevertheless, we'll talk more about this game as tonight unfolds. First, though, all right, we got to say a little something. Thank you to sponsor tonight's live stream podcast, guys, and that's MyBookie. Everyone is trying to cash in on the next best crypto, but if you want a guaranteed way to double your money, all you need to do is use the promo code MHH at MyBookie. It's simple. You sign up at MyBookie with the promo code MHH, and your first deposit is immediately doubled all the way up to $1,000. How's that for a quick turnaround on your investment? We're talking ROI. With the NFL playoff race heating up, you got college bowl season just around the corner. Double your firepower at MyBookie to get in on the action of the most important games of this season.
Yeah, guys, this is really cool stuff. You can build your own props, you can create multi-game parlays, and take part in a host of MyBookie cash prize contests. This is the best time of the year to both watch and bet on sports because you know who the winners are by now. Don't miss out. Double your first deposit by using promo code MHH and keep your eyes peeled for more exclusive holiday promotions coming soon at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
All right. One other little piece of housekeeping that we must get to. Andrew Lampy, you're a freaking stud. We love you. Appreciate you. I have been on the road. So tomorrow, the little care packages and whatnot for the winners of the drawings from last night's show, tomorrow they will be going out, just FYI. And by the way, if you have been named a winner of anything over the last 2 months and you haven't received, whether it's a jersey or a little care package or something, send us an email because I'm pretty sure I covered all the bases, and not just the most recent, like not just last night, but predating that. But let me know, okay? Zach, I just want to show everybody where we stand because yesterday, of course, was day one in this brand new month of December, my favorite month of the year for what it's worth, and not just because it's Christmas, Zach, but it's my birthday, all right? I'm a Sagittarius. We have a goal on Facebook, 250,000 stars. When we reach that goal, we're going to raffle off a Broncos jersey of the winner's choosing. All right. Just like we did last month. Starting off the month, unsurprisingly, we're at 1%. So if we chug, we get out there, we can crush that goal and raffle off some jerseys, just like you saw Michaela getting her jersey today. And of course, the only people in the running for that, all right, are the people who contribute to the goal. And stars, by the way, guys, if you're on Facebook, it's like a super chat on YouTube. It's a way you can support the channel, the shows individually. Here's the leaderboard for the month. Now, we're early, Zach, in this month. It's barely day 2 here, but Andrew Lampy at the top, Lawrence Rivera, Andrew Baker, Travis Weber, Mike Reno, Johnny Martin, Mohamed Badri, Dave Glassman, Howie Frickin' Day, and Chris Hernandez round out the top 10, and then some studs right just outside the top 10. But we'll of course be monitoring that closely as the month unfolds. But shout out to each and every one of you. And also, Zach, quickly, shout out to Dylan Von Arks. Dylan, hope you've had a great start to your holiday season, my friend. You and I need to get together sometime this month and have a conversation. You've been just a phenomenal help to us, and we appreciate you.
Salute as always, Dylan. Thank you.
Okay,
Shaguki.
You say, how would you say this?
I totally butchered that just now. I wasn't reading it correctly. Shaguki.
Shaguki. You do the super.
K Shaguki TV, $4.99 super. Thank you. Appreciate you so much. Jimmy Garoppolo, appreciate you, Scott, as an option in OFS, offseason. I think he's a better option than Teddy Bridgewater. A lot of acronyms here. I feel Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are too costly to go get. Garoppolo for 3rd. Desmond Ridder, again, hat tip, Scott, in the 2nd round. And DP for head coach.
Dude, I would be the worst reading this super chat. Every 5 seconds, I'd be like, Zach, interpret. So this was
I,
meant to be.
I'm trying to figure out who DP is. I don't know why I'm having a
Even Scott's going, I don't know.
DP. Oh, Doug Peterson. It's got to be.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So let's
all right.
let's break this down by person here, Chad. By
Yeah.
noun. What do you feel about Jimmy Garoppolo as an option in the offseason? I'm with
Miss
you on
me.
that
Miss
already.
me. Now, look, he's got an element of proven veteran wherewithal, right? Did lead a team to the Super Bowl. Couldn't quite get over the hump, was carried by what was a just phenomenally talented roster that year and some of the best coaching in the league, obviously. Came up short against the Chiefs. Gummit, we were rooting for him. Let's go, Niners. What happened? But I don't know, dude. I'm over the pocket statues of the world. Like if you're going to serve me up a pocket statue, if the name's not Manning or Brady, miss me, because the league is trending towards the improvisers, the athletes whose arm strength or their athleticism, they're commensurate, they're on the same level. That's what I want. I want to see the Broncos find a young John Elway type. Now that sounds like good luck, right? They broke the mold on Elway, but by that I just mean a guy with an arm who can win from the pocket, Zach, but also has the ability to get outside the pocket, create, and I just don't see JG as being that.
I mean, is he that much better than a Case Keenum? And you have to ask yourself that. I don't really think so. I think he's on par with the Case Keenum.
He's a prettier thrower. He's a handsome SOB. This we know about Jimmy, right? Jimmy G. But the package might be more alluring. The product, the end result.
No, this ain't Milan, Chad. This is the Mile High City. I want a quarterback that plays well on the field. In fact, for that third-round pick that Kei Shiguki proposes here, I'd rather draft a quarterback in the third round. And I do feel that Rodgers or Wilson would be too costly, but so would Garoppolo. I mean, I don't know his contract situation. Didn't you say he's under contract for one more year? I wouldn't want to take that on and give up a third-round pick on top of that. So, no, I'm with Chad on that. Miss me. I don't want another Band-Aid Case Keenum quarterback. Either you go all out for Aaron Rodgers or you go all in for a young quarterback. It's really as simple as that.
But, if we're talking about stopgaps, at this stage, far be it from me to go on a soapbox defending Teddy Bridgewater, but I'm going with the devil I know. And at least with Teddy, that there's some intangible traits there that are formidable. Whereas with Jimmy G, you don't really hear much about him being a leader. You don't really hear much about him, intangible wise. You don't really hear anything about him. It's all straight up measurables. It's all the quick release. It's, I remember when he was coming out of, what was it, Scott? Was it Eastern Illinois? Wherever the heck Tony Romo played, right? Isn't that where Jimmy G came from? Either way, it was, we haven't seen a release this gorgeous since Dan Marino. It's like, well, okay, you hyped the kid up. It helped a little bit that he got his start in New England, and in that system, when he got to play, won a lot of games, became valuable. But outside of that 1 year in San Fran, Zach, I just don't see it.
But if he can't cut it with Kyle Shanahan, Chad, what makes you think he's going to cut it with, let's say, if they bring back Pat Shurmur? The coaching is also playing a part in whatever good that Jimmy Garoppolo did. And even right now, I know that Shanahan's getting a lot of crap and criticism, but they have a good running attack with Eli Mitchell. They have two good receivers in Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. They have a good tight end in George Kittle, a pretty good offensive line. If you can't win with that, and they're drafting a young quarterback to replace you eventually in Trey Lance, I don't want that guy. It's Teddy Bridgewater all over again, or Case Keenum all over again. Time for a different approach.
And, I don't think you're going to have to trade for him, to be honest. His dead cap is somewhere around $1 million. He's going to get cut, guys. And then you can just go, if you want him, you can go negotiate with him. The Aviator himself, no, I'm not talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm talking about Shane Daniels. What's up, big dog? Says, don't take this the wrong way. I kind of hope Melvin Gordon doesn't play so we can see a full game with Javonte and then see what Mike Boone brings. I feel you, but wouldn't you want all your horses for this one? I mean, this is the game to really kind of, and this is something I'll disagree with, like Scott and Nick on the morning show. I do think this is a pivotal, this is a breaking point game. If the Broncos lose this game, are they mathematically eliminated? No. Could they still have a decent shot at the playoffs? Absolutely. As long as the math adds up, Zach, then yes. But from an emotional, spiritual perspective, I don't think this team that has teetered on the verge of, are we for real? Nope. We are fool's gold. Are we for real? They keep doing this. If they lose a 12th straight game on a national stage to the Chiefs with first place in the AFC West on the line, emotionally, I don't see this team being able to recover from that. So that's why I think it's so important. Now, I don't say that to put more pressure on this particular stage, Zach, because it's quite replete with pressure, but I'm just telling you like I see it.
There's only so many times that you can use Narcan before your heart gives out. And that's what the Broncos did against the Chargers, Chad. Their season was on life support. They brought it back from the dead. They can't do that twice. Like we talked about yesterday, even if they lose this game, their record still indicates they're in the playoff hunt. But psychologically, mentally, emotionally, how do you overcome another loss? This one in prime time, this one coming off a resounding victory where you have a chance to show the world that it wasn't a mirage, that you're for real. If they lose this game, and if they lose it badly especially, it could be it for them. So I agree with you that it's a pivotal barometer game, and I also argue the final barometer game they're going to have this year.
By the way, Jeff Noyes, you bet your ass everybody loves Michaela. I mean, is this the night of rhetorical questions to end all rhetorical questions? Andrew Baker, what's good, big dog? A man whose braids I can really appreciate, all right? For real, I was a little bit peanut butter and jelly when we mixed. I'm like, man, I wish I still had that freaking hair on my head where I could rock braids down to my butt cheeks like this freaking stud Andrew Baker. It was cool to meet you, big dog. He says, so what could be the X factor or the key matchup for the win besides the obvious run the ball and good defense? MHH for life. I'll tell you, Zach, I think offensively, it's really two things. And I don't say this like you ignore Tyreek Hill. Of course you don't ignore Tyreek Hill. You can't ignore Tyreek Hill. They're going to use him vertically. They're going to use him horizontally. They're going to stretch you every which way with Tyreek Hill. But you're going to have double safety. I mean, I think Fangio is going to continue to employ that too high safety attack that has seemed to be the only thing to mitigate Mahomes, the world beater, right? So you're going to have double coverage, is my point, on Tyreek Hill, at least over the top. So it comes down to me limiting Travis Kelce and winning with 4 rushers, getting to Mahomes with 4 rushers. Those are the two components on defense. And then what more do you need to say on offensively, Zach, besides run the ball and score points, finish drives with tutties? That's it, bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, you made the points that are worth making here, and so did Andrew as well. Run the ball and play good defense, but convert your red zone opportunities and goal-to-go opportunities to touchdowns and not field goals. You're not going to beat Kansas City with 3 with McManus. You're going to beat them with 7 in the running game or the passing game. You got to get in the end zone. Keep Mahomes off the field as long as possible. Run it down their throats, wear them down, get 7s on the board, and let the defense do the rest. If they can do that, they have a good chance of walking out of there with a dub.
And by the way, Scott clarified his take. He says, fight and lose a close one, Broncos will be fine. Get blown out, ship goes down. All right. Mike Reno, what's up, bro? He says, well said, Chad. I believe the players need this game really bad to keep that fire burning for the stretch run. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And just from an emotional perspective, getting that, even if it wasn't an 11-game losing streak to the Chiefs, Zach, just being able to beat that 800-pound gorilla that's been at the top of the mountain post Super Bowl 50, just being able to get that win where the stakes are high. This isn't just, week 4 of the regular season. Sure, every regular season game you want to try and win, don't get me wrong, but you're now in the middle of the stretch, or the beginning, I should say, of the stretch, and you've actually got stakes this time beyond just pride, which is what we've had to live on, right, following these Broncos the last 5+ years, is playing for pride by the time you get to December because the playoffs wave bye-bye. This time, it's on. And Michaela says, happy birthday, Chad. All the best and many more. Thank you very much. My birthday is not till the 11th, so we got a few more days, but I do appreciate the preemptive on that. So, Zach, that's the bottom line.
Pride. What pride? It's been a long freaking 5 years, Chad. And there's been some solid flashes of decent play and close games against Kansas City, but close doesn't count in the NFL. A loss is a loss is a loss, just like a win is a win is a win. I think they need this one if they really want to make the playoffs. And you talked about their fire. The problem with the Broncos is they'll have a raging fire and then it goes out as fast as it sparks, Chad. And then we don't know when it's going to come back, but it does randomly. It came back last week, but it went out the week before that against the Eagles. It came back against Dallas before that, and the week before it went out again. So we don't really know what Broncos team we're going to see. But if we get the Broncos team with that fire, that's all they need if they want to cruise out of there with a W.
GLP, as we like to call him, Gary Leeds Palmer, says, "Hey, Broncos country, beat the Chiefs." Jeff Noyes, and thank you, GLP. Jeff Noyes wants to know what the weather forecast is. I don't know, but the last I checked, it was just looking like kind of a chill autumn. I know we're now aren't we officially in winter now? I can never keep track of when
I
when
don't
the
think yet.
seasons begin. Either way, it's not going to be like the snow game of the last 2 years. I don't think there's going to be any weather. I'm looking here.
I can pull it up real quick.
I think it'll just be cold. It's going to be dead smack in the Midwest in early December at night. I don't know, probably somewhere around 30, 40 degrees, but I don't expect, from what I've checked on, Zach, there to be rain, sleet, or snow.
I mean, I have my weather app open right here to Kansas City. Sunday, cloudy, high 61, low 36. So no snow, no rain, not overly cold. I mean, this is a perfect football game, honestly, Sunday night.
Look who it is. Josh Shadow reached out to me a couple days back saying, "Hey, sorry, we'll read his super chat, but I'm back in the saddle." And here he is saying, "Hey guys, been a while, been fighting some personal demons, and finally starting to get my life back on track. But we are going to end the drought on Sunday. I won't be able to watch though. Going on a short vacation. Sounds like you deserve that vacation, big dog. And as someone who has vanquished my own little set of personal demons on the shoulder, right, trying to steer you wrong. Much love and respect for that. Can't only guess what it might be, but keep a stiff upper lip, big dog."
Everyone needs time to get their mentals right, as Marshawn Lynch said, and Joshua, I hope you have the best vacation and you kind of reset and, find yourself once again. We're rooting for you. Anything we can do for you, Josh, let us know. Reach out and we'll take care of you.
It's great to see you back in the chat. All right. Dave Glassman, by the way, we'll grab Naj. Dave goes, "Scott, why are we always late in the evening but right on time in the morning?" You're looking at why. These dudes on the screen, we just struggle with being on time. It is what it is. Mad respect to Scott and Nick and all the other shows, by the way, on time. It's tough. It's tough. Naj, dude, love you. By the way, Naj, you won a care package from, I was just listening back because I'm trying to get in the ducks in a row of anyone that I might have missed from the October giveaways.
What a catch.
You won a care package, but I never got an email from you with your details that I could find. So I just need, you probably ordered merch and stuff before. It's hard for me to find that information. So just shoot me an email. It says, "Hey bros, appreciate you. Broncos will play well this week, I believe." Love it. Love the optimism. And one thing Scott was talking about this morning as I was listening to Broncos for Breakfast that really resonated with me in terms of, just making sense. Found myself kind of nodding along. And that is that the Broncos, I mean, they're the underdog. They are so grossly the underdog that you can go into Arrowhead if you forget about the water under the bridge, if you forget about the 11-game losing streak, Zach, and you go in there loose and confident and just having fun, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die. Like, hey, this is it. What, no big deal. Let's go. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they're this big favorite, and a lot of people, hey, Mahomes is back. This is the Chiefs. We know they're going to go all the way. Like, they're the ones that have to manage the pressure. They're the ones that have to really manage the expectations. And that's not to say that there are no stakes, but I think that's that same kind of energy, Zach, that same kind of spiritual magic that Denver somehow tapped into in that Dallas game. They need to find a way to be loosey-goosey, confident, intense at the same time in this one, and I like what could unfold.
I think you just hit the nail on the head there, Chad, referencing the Cowboys game, because I was going to say the last time the Broncos were this heavy of an underdog was that Dallas game, and no one gave them a chance. Everyone thought they were going to get run out of AT&T Stadium, but they were the ones doing the running out of Jerry World, and the same thing could transpire if we get that Broncos iteration on Sunday night at Arrowhead. I'm not predicting a victory. I don't even think a victory is overly likely, but they damn sure have a chance, Chad, if they bring that fight, they bring that Broncos team with them, that mentality, that energy, the game planning, the coaching aside, Chad, just the intangibles they've displayed in these victories. There's a big, it's a result that you can trace. When they play with energy, when they're prepared, they win. When they're not, they lose. So that's going to actually unfold, I think, on Sunday night.
Duke, good to see you, my friend. How have you been? It's great having you. Appreciate you. He says, yo, Zach, watching the Dallas game, I like Kellen Moore's play design. That can go a long way. Kellen Moore is a name that the last, since week 9, basically for Broncos country, Zach, his name kind of lost some of its luster, but I don't think it should. I mean, coaches, just like players, can have a bad day, especially if players don't really have a good day themselves, right? If they come out a little bit flat collectively, but I still like him. Am I convinced he's the next greatest head coach? No, but I love him as a candidate, as an option.
I mean, yeah, he certainly had a bad day against the Broncos. Every team, every coach does. But if you look at his overall body of work, your mouth is still salivating. And Duke, I don't know if you're trolling because you made this comment when it was 0-0. I don't know if that's a sarcastic kind of bar, but Michael Gallup just made a tremendous touchdown grab in the corner of the end zone to take a 7-0 lead. So what he can bring to the table, I know he has a great quarterback and a great supporting cast, but you mentioned it, if you're being serious and genuine there, the play designs. I mean, what you see in one game is more than Pat Shurmur has done in 2 seasons, and it's so refreshing and eye-opening to see another team utilize that. So that's what I want in the Broncos building. Doesn't necessarily have to be Kellen Moore if they pivot off of Vic Fangio. I just want to bring a new, innovative offense, a refreshing, scent buster, Chad, inside the walls that have been, not aerated in quite some time.
Word, Dave jumping in. Appreciate you, my friend. Shout out to Scott on the 1s and 2s. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We love and appreciate Kennedy. Lando, don't call me Calrissian Lee in the house. One of the coolest names all time, Lando. Bro, thank your parents. Have you ever seen That's My Boy with Adam Sandler and what's his name? Andy Samberg? Is it Andy Samberg? Anyway, great movie. Raunchy as all get out, but freaking funny as heck. He named his son, the character, Adam Sandler's character was a famous kind of like child celebrity and burnt out and, whatever. And he named his son. He had a son at like 14 or whatever. So he raised this kid by himself at 14. It's a whole funny comedy story, all right? But he named him because he was a child still, basically, when the kid was born, Han Solo Burger. His last name is Burger, but he named his boy Han Solo. Love it. You've never seen that?
No, if Andy Samberg's in it, I'm not watching it, Chad. So that's probably why.
You
I like
like
Adam
him?
Sandler. Nah, can't do it. Lonely
Dude.
Island, can't do it.
You gotta give him one last chance in That's My Boy. Trust. Cameron Wadman,
Maybe.
what's going on, brother? Also, the other one, seven Days of Hell or something. Have you seen that? The HBO about the 2 tennis guys, and it's got Andy and Jon Snow from Game of Thrones as these 2 tennis icons that are.
It would
going at
violate
it.
my rule of no Andy Samberg in my house. So
Bro, funny as heck too. All right,
I'll
indubitably.
give you one chance, Chad.
If you're gonna give me one, it's
That's
got to
My
be
Boy.
That's My Boy. All right.
Okay, I'll do it.
Cam Wadman, watched the game last week. Mile High is amazing atmosphere. Rodgers or Wilson? I'd prefer Wilson myself. Depends on what you value right now. Wilson obviously has Rodgers beat in the age department, right? But Rodgers has the more accomplished, I think, body of work. Rodgers has also become somewhat of a controversial figure, Zach, after everything that went down with him and the virus. Not that really matters much in the grand scheme of things, probably, but still. What's your answer for Cameron?
I mean, at this point, I think Russell Wilson's kind of breaking down. I don't know what's going on with the finger, what's going on in Seattle, but he's looking like a shell of his former self. And it might just need where it's a change of scenery that he could, re-spark his career. But Rodgers is still playing. People forget he's the reigning MVP. He's playing at an MVP level once again, Chad. And they're trying to manufacture this bad press against him with the C veto. I almost said the word. The C veto. Everything, his immunization and all the vaccine stuff, I don't care about that. If he can ball on the field and keep my team winning, in contention for a number 1 seed in the conference, I'm going to rock with that quarterback. It's not my preference. I would still like George Payton to find the young guy through the draft. You mentioned getting your own young John Elway. I'm right there with you on that. It's about time to go to that well, scout the quarterback, develop the quarterback, and have your own long-term franchise guy. Don't just buy another team's.
Scott doesn't know who Andy Samberg is. There he is right there. You recognize him now? Okay. All right. Just making sure. Just making sure. All right.
Moving on.
I'm a movie guy. What do you want me to do? All right. I love movies. Okay. How I don't even remember why I even referenced that. It's my boy. Oh, Han Solo. Yeah, Han Solo burger. Okay. Let's grab Travis. We got to start doing the head-to-head here in just a minute, but I just want to grab one more here from Travis. He says, since they aren't using Mike Boone on offense, why not put him in at returner?
Great
As
observation.
bad as Spencer is, it might be an upgrade. What do you got to lose at this point? Nothing.
So instead of using Mike Boone, who you signed, who you're paying, who is healthy, who's getting no use, who is Phillip Lindsay's replacement because he's a better running back and more explosive, you're going to let him rot on the bench, and you're toying with the idea of making your future all-pro cornerback a kick returner. You're going to take a defensive rookie of the year candidate and expose him to injury. I mean, I don't know if it's to placate Tom McMahon or because he doesn't like Deontay Spencer now, but that's a horrible idea by Vic Fangio. Terrible.
Colby, appreciate you. Triple C in the house saying, I'm starting to think we need to have a lead, even if it's a field goal, or we just don't have the fire. So he's saying if the Broncos don't get out to an early lead, the fire doesn't come. I don't know. If you can, I think it was the second game last year, the Broncos with Drew Lock inexplicably did get out to a modest early lead, and that was the game, right? Of the two, wasn't it the second game that was relatively close? But I'm talking Chiefs here. Either way, there might be something to it. The Broncos just simply have to start. This has to be the game, Zach, where it's complete performance, right? As far as like turnover margin, balance on offense, feed your studs. Like, this would be a good game to remember the fact that you have Cortland Sutton still on the team. You just paid him an extension. Feed this cat, feed Noah Fant, feed Javonte, feed Jerry. All right, get the ball to these stars you have. Imagine Aaron Rodgers, Zach, with this supporting cast, and your jaw just hits the floor. Like, imagine what it could be. Let's go, Teddy.
I mean, it's got to be the Dallas game, and I agree with you. It's got to be all three phases. Even in that game, Chad, they recovered a fumble, a punt block that went the other way for him. I mean, the ball literally has to bounce the Broncos' way. And I'm not treating the Chiefs like they're some godly team who can't be beaten. Obviously, they've taken a step back this year, and they are vulnerable, unsusceptible, but they're still very, very mighty compared to Denver, and they're proven compared to Denver. And the Broncos, you got to give all 60 minutes, come correct from the opening minute, come with that intensity, come with that fire and that passion, be prepared, go out there and execute, don't make mistakes, and you can put yourself in a position where you can win.
By the way, Scott, no, we didn't get Cody, and I've got him right here, so we'll grab Shane, Cody, and then we'll look at some head-to-heads. Shane says, KC is beatable. Their O-line is suspect. Their pass game is inconsistent, especially if you can get Mahomes to hold on to the ball. My biggest concern is our O-line. They need to be aggressive and consistent. I think they'll have a little bit of a shot in the arm getting Garrett Bowles back, who, went from being kind of the little bro that everyone was kind of trying to shield from all the hate he was getting to, when you bring home a second-team All-Pro accolade and you get paid, all of a sudden you rise up, and he's kind of become, or at least he fancies himself anyway, a leader on that offensive line. But just having a guy that is your former first-round pick, got paid, All-Pro, all this, that should be a shot in the arm. But I don't know. We'll see about what did Fangio say today about Reisner? Let me see. Pardon me. I don't think he did mention Dalton Reisner, Zach. But even if you don't have Dalton Reisner, whoever that interior trio is, man, they just gotta. This has to be the game for them.
I assume, pun intended, shot in the arm with Bowles coming off the CV list, so that was very well played on your part. Yeah, they do need to be consistent, and regardless of Dalton Reisner's status, I think Netane Muti could be an upgrade on him, honestly, at left guard. They got to be aggressive, but they got to do their jobs, and they can't let Chris Jones blow by him. They can't let Melvin Ingram blow by him. They can't let the pass rush get home or Teddy to get sacked, obviously, or the running game. That's where I think they have to step up the most. I mean, be maulers, be road graders in the ground game. Get Javonte going. Melvin at less than 100%. Get him going as well. Take the pressure off of Teddy Bridgewater. This game starts like where last game started, in the trenches. If you can win there, you can win the game overall.
Kei Shoguki says, I'm turning 29 on Sunday. Can't wait for the game. That's rad. Happy early birthday to you, big dog. Cody Dub says, sucks to say it depends on what Broncos we could see play an okay game. They could come out and get stomped or kick the Chiefs right in the mouth. You said it, bro. Vic Fangio doesn't want to admit, Zach, that the Broncos have a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. Whoops, throw that back up. That was my fault. Complex, but they do. Now, Oi Boy 90. There, that's what I thought. I'm like, if it's Oi, it's got to be Josh. It is. What's good, big dog? He says, my guys, Rogue Theory here. Another guy had my old YouTube handle, thus the change. All right, cool. Most people don't even know what Oi Boy might even mean unless you come from punk rock. Just spent a month and 2 days in the hospital. Yo, glad to say I kicked the virus's ASS. That's dope. Bro, why didn't you let us know? You should have. I mean, you had bigger fish to fry, obviously, but shoot us a freaking DM. Let me know, dude, because we'd have been putting some vibes out for you. He says, what you think, boys? We beaten KC. Great to see that you freaking vanquished that bad boy, big dog. And thank you for the love.
We hope your toes are all good. We appreciate you, Josh. Beating Kansas City, like we just broke down, it's certainly possible. And, Chad, I feel the most confident in the last couple years going into a Kansas City matchup as I do on Sunday night. Not just because they won necessarily last week, but because of the talent they have on this roster and the fact that the talent is starting to blossom now. You see Javonte coming into his own. You see PS2 coming into his own. The defense seems to be gelling a little more and clicking a little better together. It could be fun, like we predicted before the season, even with Teddy Bridgewater, even with Vic Fangio, Pat Shurmur as the coaches. With this level of talent on the roster and the talent they've since added, like Kenny Young and Stephen Weatherly, I mean, who knows what could happen? But it starts on Sunday.
All right, let's start our head-to-heads because we're at 41 minutes, and we got to keep it pretty tight tonight because we were late. My fault. In case you've never been on a Thursday night in-season Huddle Up podcast stream, green signifies top 10 ranking, while red signifies bottom 10. And if it's black, well, you guessed it. It's right in the middle. Your Denver Broncos are 6-5 against the 7-4 Chiefs. And the Broncos come into this matchup well ahead of the Chiefs in turnover margin. The Broncos have taken the ball away one time more than they've given it away. They're +1. Meanwhile, Zach, the Chiefs have given it away 7 times more than they've taken it. So they're -7 in turnover differential. And the Broncos remain one of their rare top 10 rankings on offense. I guess this is really a offense and defense stat because even though it's the offense possessing, if the defense isn't doing its job, getting the opponent off the field, it's hard to really pump this number up. So this is a sign of a complementary squad, but the Broncos are ranked 10th in the league, possessing the ball 31 minutes and 24 seconds, and the Chiefs right behind them, 2 spots behind them at 12th. But first things first, Zach, before we get into offense, how do you interpret this on the Chiefs side, this -7 business?
If you've watched the Kansas City games, it's a lot of bad luck because so many passes have been off receivers' hands and been charged to Mahomes. He's been also playing at a poorer level, making a lot of stupid throws, Chad, playing hero ball that's not working out, whereas it would have worked out the last couple of years for him. I don't know. You watch that Kansas City offense and they're completely out of sorts, but it's looking like before the bye week, they were getting things together. We have to hope, though, that we talk about the good Broncos showing up, but the bad Chiefs have to show up for the Broncos to win as well. That would be nice.
What I've noticed about Mahomes this year is when you play coverage and manage to generate even modest pressure with 4, and he has to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, he's getting greedy. He's taken more chances that in the past, not to say that he was some conservative. I mean, obviously, this dude is like the playmaker to end all playmakers. But what I mean by that is when he gets greedy, he's scratching at things that aren't really there. He's hoping to kind of force situations, and teams have been able to exploit that, Zach, because they've played really disciplined coverage, and they've managed to, for the most part, get home with 4 rushers. But if you start trying to blitz this cat, be careful. Offense, let's take a quick look here. The Broncos... Hey, this is actually a modest improvement, Zach. Look at all the black here. We're used to seeing naught but red for these Broncos offensively. They are middle of the pack, 20th in yards per game, 18th in yards per play, 21st in points per game. What happened?
No, I'm just saying it's like that's what we're getting excited about considering how bad it's been the last couple of years. We're happy that they're 20th in yards per game, and 18th in yards per play.
20.7 points per game is what the Broncos are averaging compared to the Chiefs. 25.5 points per game. Rushing, the Broncos are the 14th rushing offense, averaging 114, and the Chiefs are right behind them, 112, we'll say. Passing, the Chiefs are the 4th. Broncos are the 21st. And the Chiefs, by the way, in those yards or in those metrics, 2nd yards per game, 8th in yards per play, 9th in points per game. Net rushing, middle of the pack. Passing, they're 4th. And then we get down here, Zach, where things start to get interesting on one hand, a little bit concerning on the other. Broncos have only been picked off 7 times. That's the 6th fewest in the NFL. And they've only fumbled the ball 5 times, lost them, that is, which is tied for the 9th fewest. Total giveaways, they have given it away only 12 times. So they're tied for 5th fewest giveaways in the league. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have 11 picks, 11 lost fumbles, 22 total giveaways, ranking them only one team worse than them, Zach, in being loosey-goosey with the ball. But here's what's crazy. Most of those giveaways were, the first 7-8 games of the season? They've kind of tightened things up of late before they hit their bye. And then last thing here, sacks allowed the Broncos. Look at the red. We don't like this. They're 31 sacks they've relinquished, tied for 24th most, or tied for 24th in the league. Third down percentage, Zach, they're still in the red. They have climbed a little bit, going, what was it last week, Zach? 8 for 11, I want to say, on third down.
Yep.
That helped them climb a little bit, but they're still below 40%, ranked 23rd. And in the red zone, even though they went a perfect, I think it was 3 for 3 in the red zone against the Chargers, they're still ranked 26th. That's how bad they've been, averaging or converting just 54% of red zone possessions into touchdowns. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they've only allowed 20 sacks. That's tied for 6th. A third down percentage, Zach, they're converting 51%. No one better than the Chiefs on third down. But in the red zone, surprisingly, they faltered. This is another metric where you have traditionally expected to see green. So how do you interpret that?
Well, I mean, you want to know the genius of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, Chad, and all involved there. I mean, they're having a down season, yet they're still number 1 in third down percentage. They're still, if you scroll back up, they're 4th in whatever that was, passing per game. They're 2nd in yards per game. They're 8th in yards per play, 9th in points per game. That's a down season for Mahomes and Andy Reid. So it really goes to show you how good they are at their respective jobs. But it comes down to how the Broncos do in the red zone on offense and in the red zone on defense. They have to score points, and here's my John Madden impersonation for the evening, Chad. They have to keep the Chiefs out of the end zone to win the game.
Do you also have a John Madden impression, like a true impression, like the what's the guy?
Caliendo, I can't do it.
Dude, that guy's John Madden.
Yeah,
gets me in
Fire.
stitches. All right, let's go to the defense. The Broncos, plenty of green here. This is encouraging, and that hasn't always been green, by the way. They've really solidified things, even in the couple of games over the last quarter of the season that they've lost. Net yards per game, this is the 9th ranked defense. Points per game, they're 3rd, relinquishing 17.8 points per game. Net passing, Zach, they're the top 10, or 10th ranked, I should say, passing defense, relinquishing 224 yards per game. Middle of the road, but just outside, I guess, the top 10 as a rushing defense, allowing just 106 yards per game. And then interceptions, here's where I have been frustrated with Fangio's defense from the drop. They have always struggled since he's been in Denver, Zach, to take the ball away. But they got 10 interceptions, which ties him for 12th. Pat Surtain, you take away his 2 from Sunday, and they're probably still, I don't know, low end of being in the black. Fumble recoveries, only 3, tied for 28th. And then before we keep going, let's just take a look at the Chiefs. Now, you got to keep in mind as you look at these statistical rankings for the Chiefs, guys, they have really turned the ship around defensively. All right. So this is still the fumes, the after effects of just how bad they were early in the season. But as it stands, they are the 23rd ranked defense in yards per game. Points wise, they are 13th, allowing 22.7 points per game. Rushing, they're 15th. Passing, they're 24th. Picks, they're worse than they're tied with the Broncos. Fumble recoveries, they have 5, so 2 more than the Broncos. Takeaways, they have 15 total to Denver's 13. Sacks, they have 19. That's another problem for them. They've really struggled to get pressure. period, end of story. There's only, 5 teams worse than them in the league? And then on third down, here's where we want to really compare these two defenses. The Broncos are 28th on third down. They've climbed a little, but they were, I think last week, weren't they 30th? I think they were 30th on third down. They've climbed a little because they improved against LA, and they're now top 10 in red zone, Zach. But look at the Chiefs, 13th on third down defensively and 23rd in the red zone. They're allowing touchdowns on 65% of opponent trips inside the red area.
Here's my worry, though. The Kansas City offense is number 1 on third down, and the Broncos are 28th on third down. And you know what? To your point, Chad, for the most expensive defense in the NFL with the mastermind Vic Fangio at the controls, to be 18th in takeaways and 13th in sacks, I think that's kind of a disappointing output for what we had in mind on paper, even with the injuries and all that's gone on. But yeah, they're going to really have to limit the big plays, obviously. But you know what? Looking at the Kansas City defense, if you scroll up for a second, they're averaging, giving up, I think it's 6.05 yards per play. There is no reason why the Broncos should end up in 2nd and 7s and 3rd and 6s this game. They have to be 2nd and 2, 3rd and 3. Even if that, they shouldn't even need to get to third down against this Kansas City defense. So that's going to be the tail of the tape there. They don't really do anything overly well. They're 24th against the pass and 15th against the run, but 31st in yards per play allowed. They gotta move it vertically, not horizontally, run it down their throats and set up easy situations, not these long, elaborative drives, Chad.
Look at all the green. Dave Tobe, dude. Hats off to this cat. Special teams, I mean, the Chiefs, I think, are still just the best special teams. They're not ranked first in everything, but because they're top 10 in literally every statistical category besides field goal, Dave Tobe, dude, hats off to him. Meanwhile, the Broncos are there on punt returns, but hey. All right, guys.
I like how we have to close it out every week on special teams because they're always that bad. There's always so much red, and every other coordinator is always so much better than what the Broncos have. But Dave Tobe versus Tom McMahon is not a fair fight at all.
We do have to kind of close things out a little bit early tonight. So one last one from the Oi Boy 90. And then we got to go. Okay. For our official predictions, guys, wait till tomorrow, the Mile High Roundtable. We've slipped a few times this season, Zach, giving an official prediction on Thursday nights, but the Mile High Roundtable tomorrow will be published by about lunchtime. And you'll see, I'm feeling good, but I'm still not quite 100% sure. I haven't fully wrapped my arms around how I feel about this game. So I'm kind of kicking the can down the road a little bit, wait until as late as in the week as I can to fully kind of say, all right, going out on the limb, here's what I think is going to happen. But anyway, Josh says, sick or not, I tuned in to watch y'all when I could. I listened to all the pods I missed while doing physical therapy. You guys helped me come home. Thank you. Great to hear,
God bless,
bro.
Josh.
Great to hear. So glad that you are home and so glad to have you back with us, my friend. Congratulations. And you kicked its ass. Congrats.
All the best.
Guys, we got to go, though. All right. Thank you for spending time with us tonight. Tomorrow, you've got Dove Valley Deep Divers. Saturday, you've got Broncos Book Club at noon. All right, Mountain Time, followed by Mile High Insiders. And then Zach and I will be back Sunday first, though, with Kelberman's Corner. If you are a supporter on Facebook, you'll have access to that at halftime. And then, of course, the gut reaction. It's going to be a late night for a Sunday, Zach, because the gut reaction is going to come at freaking the wee hour of the morning because it's a Sunday night. But Kayaka jumped in at the 11th hour. Thank you, bro. He says, non-football related, but I need a virtual hug. Bad day. My 2000 Camaro got hit today while she was parked in a lot at work. What the frick? Had to come see my boys in Broncos country. Dude, what the heck happened, dude? How does that happen? Someone just like back into it type deal? That sucks, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. Just know that you're the man. You know this. You're undefeated. This too shall pass. You'll overcome it. Hopefully, was it just like a hit and run where you didn't get, is there insurance involved? Someone paying for this? What happened?
I would need more than a hug. I would need some bail money, Chad, if that happened to me. But Kayaka, your karmic intervention will precede you here. You'll be just fine. Like Chad said, you are the best, and we appreciate you. And we're getting some hugs already from Dave. He's hugging Kayaka over his car, so it'll be okay. It'll get straightened out, and the world will always balance out. But anything we can do, let us know.
All right, guys, we really do have to go. So, Zach, if you wouldn't mind
Yep.
getting us out of here, and then I'll pull up Facebook.
Appreciate you guys. As always, hope everyone has a great weekend, before the Broncos game against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. In the meantime, until we see you guys next time, be sure to follow the pod on Twitter at Huddle Up Pod. You can follow the main account on Twitter at Mile High Huddle. You can follow Chad on Twitter at Chad and Jensen. You can follow myself at Kelberman NFL. Follow Scott on Twitter at Scout Kennedy. Also, huddleuppod.com, guys, right now, and get your swag. Get yourself a Football Priest hoodie. Get yourself a Mile High Huddle hoodie like Chad's wearing. A trucker hat like Chad is rocking right now. A lot of things are at that store. Pick it up now at huddleuppod.com. Also, facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. Hit that big blue button. Chad just talked about Kelberman's Corner on Sunday. We also have Trickle Zone and Broncos Book Club each and every week. 3 VIP shows right at your fingertips if you become a VIP right now. Big blue button at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. Also, facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. Different page, but like that page and follow that page as well for more about the brand. And if you haven't already, go to Apple Podcasts and leave your Football Priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some aforementioned swag each and every single month. But if you can't do any of those things, do these 3 things that take literally 3 seconds, if that. Subscribe, like, and share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. Helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
Amen, guys. Here's a shout out to the Facebook supporters throwing down stars. Here's how they finished tonight. Shane at the top, Andrew Lampy, Colby, Andrew Baker, Dave Glassman, Joshua Shadow, Lando Lee, GLP, Cam Wadman, Claude Riley, Mike Reno. Much love and respect to each and every one of you. Much love and respect to every one of our Super Chat superstars, from Kayaka to Michaela to Cody to you know who you are. We appreciate you. Josh, great to see that you are back in the saddle, big dog. And Kayaka, reach out to me. Let me know what happened, dude, on Twitter. We'll talk. But as Zach said, give us make sure you like the video. Small thing you can do to help us out in a big, bad way. And, hey, yeah, dude in a big ramp turned too tight. Dude was stand up and came and found me all in the. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. That's cool. All right. Well, thank you for the clarification, and we'll see you guys Sunday.
Appreciate you guys. Kayaka, a lot of people would have just hit and ran you, so at least he came forward and is talking with you and communicating with you, so that's good. Chad, have a great weekend. Kayaka, have a great weekend. Scott, everyone out there who tuned in, have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday for the Gut Reaction podcast after Broncos-Chiefs. Take care, and as always, go Broncos.